Welcome to Health Oddity, the show that strips away the jargon and hype surrounding all things health and fitness to help you live a long, strong and energetic life. Lining up at the bar this week, here's Peter Ladd and James St. Pierre.
Hello and welcome to the Health Oddity podcast, episode 269. If you are listening on the day of release, it's the 24th of October. So we are getting very close to Halloween, bonfire night, winter, colder weather, and the winters are drawing in. But I love this time of year. I love looking forward to Christmas, which I am going to say on the 24th of October. I think Pete's dressed in red. I don't think that's anything to do with Christmas. It's just he just happens to be dressed in red. Anyway, Pete in Bath in Somerset. How are you doing, Pete?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for that intro of like it's bleak and everything from here on in. The nights are drawn in. You know, the long winter nights are here and all of that. Thanks for that, James.
No, it's not bleak. I said it's quite. I like this time of year. It's good. It's good.
Well, hey, the weather. Like honestly, I was out yesterday in shorts and a t-shirt. I was out today in shorts and a t-shirt. To be fair, it's great.
Yeah, it's
long may it
lovely.
continue.
It is lovely, and we are joined by a very special guest today from I think it's St Ives in Cambridgeshire. And I was on a course this previous weekend or the weekend just gone, which was just quick shout out to Mammoth Strength Club. We hosted at Unique Results their strongman coaching course, and this lady was on that course at the weekend, and she's also been at Unique Results for the Terry Hollands workshop that we did earlier in the year. She is the under 50, this is 2024 under 57 kilos Strongwoman world champion, and also the under 59 kilos Masters weightlifting British champion for 2024. She is a PT, a coach. She coaches nutrition. She teaches Pilates, yoga, boot camps, legs, bums and tums, all these kind of classes in Cambridgeshire. And we're going to learn all about her and get to know her. We are joined by Hannah Fitzgerald. How are you doing, Hannah?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Excellent. No, well, thank you for coming on. It's great. And for those who listened last week, we have got Theo Newton coming on in a couple of weeks to talk about all things ultra wellness. I did say that Theo was going to be on this week, but Theo is going to be on another couple of weeks. So that will be in the future. But yeah, Hannah, I suppose it was lovely to spend so much time with you at the weekend just gone. And what I think is really interesting that I mentioned just before we started recording is that you are obviously a high level competitive strength athlete in strongwoman and weightlifting. But you also seem to be really kind of down to earth, if you like, in terms of the coaching you do with kind of women and general population. And you're not specifically working in that kind of elite performance kind of world. You're also very grounded in community-based activity and things like that. So do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about kind of yourself really, and how you got into fitness or sport or strength, wherever you want to start from really, and your journey really, I suppose, to get you to where you are now?
Okay. Yeah, so that is essentially what I do. I work really with general population rather than kind of elite athletes or particularly strongman athletes. Don't get me wrong, I do have a few clients like that who specialize and train for strongman and strongman competition, but my bread and butter of what I do is general population kind of teaching, instructing classes, and PT. Okay, so me. I've always been sporty. I was always really sporty as a kid. I did gymnastics. Did a bit of swimming. I played tennis. I played netball. I played hockey. I went to university and I did my degree in sports science. And then whilst I was at university, I worked in a gym, and kind of, started on reception, loved it, loved the environment, loved working out in the gym, and then trained to be a PT. And that's really how it all started for me. So that was, I'm not going to give how many years ago it was away, but I worked for LA Fitness
Yeah, yeah.
So I started with LA Fitness when they had 4 clubs. And I think when I left, they probably had 64 clubs. So yeah, it was at that
Do
kind
they
of
still
time.
exist, LA Fitness, or are they gone
No,
under?
I don't think they exist anymore. No, I
I was
think
going to
they've
say, I
been,
don't think I've seen one for a long time, but I don't
no,
know. Yeah, yeah,
no,
okay, yeah, yeah.
sold out.
Mm,
Yeah, so kind of worked my way up kind of through working in gyms, working in kind of club management. Went from LA Fitness to work for Holmes Place, which were then bought out by Virgin. So I spent some time with them. But the whole time that I was working in kind of the more management side of the role, I was still always teaching classes. I used to do a lot of Les Mills based classes. So body pump, body attack, body combat, RPM. Yeah. And so that's always been that. So I've always kept my like hand in kind of the teaching and off the back of that, obviously my own training as well.
mm.
So how did I get into strongman really, I suppose, is all the weightlifting. So I've got 2 lovely children. My son Jack is 10, nearly 11 now. And it was after he was born that we kind of moved from London up to Cambridgeshire. And a friend of mine had recently trained as a CrossFit coach. And she was like, Hannah, you are going to love this. You've got to do some CrossFit. I think you'll be amazing. You'll really enjoy it. So I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it. So I did. And I found like a CrossFit gym reasonably close to us in Cambridge. And I started going there. And kind of, I really did get into it. I was still doing kind of teaching like my classes whilst I was doing this, but so really got into it, loved it, and then found that the only time that I would really go was when there was a barbell class on.
Mm.
So if it was like a normal CrossFit class where you might have to do a bit of running or maybe some burpees, I would kind of be like, nah, not today. And I would avoid it and I would go and do something else, maybe at the gym instead. And then on the days that it was barbell training, I would go back and I would go there. And then a new gym opened in St. Ives, doesn't actually exist anymore, which was essentially more of a barbell club. And I was like, right, let's give that a go and see. And that is where I actually met my current coach, Adam. And so, yeah, I was kind of driving past this gym, Adam's gym, to go all the way to the CrossFit Center or the CrossFit box. And I was like, do you know what? This is silly. Knock that off the head. Focus on the strength work and the barbell work that you really enjoy. And so, yeah, so I started doing that. Adam, my coach, is a very passionate weightlifter. He's essentially a weightlifting coach. He's an amazing athlete as well. He's competed at the English and at the British Championships. And he got me into the weightlifting festival. So I did a few kind of local gym competitions. And then I think kind of we probably had a bit of a break because COVID struck and no one was training or doing anything. And then went back into it. Yeah, straight back into the weightlifting.
So just for people who are listening, when you say weightlifting, you mean like Olympic style weightlifting, so like a clean and jerk and a snatch. Yeah, is that what
Yeah,
we're
that's
talking
exactly
about?
what I mean.
Yeah.
So I mean
Okay.
Olympic weightlifting. So you have the 2 disciplines. We have the snatch where you have to basically bring the barbell all the way from the floor and overhead in one move. And then we have the clean and jerk, which is like 2 moves. So we bring it all the way from the floor and you into your kind of your front rack position. And then from front rack, you push the bar up above your head in one move and then recover to be nice and strong. So I was doing the Olympic weightlifting, did a few competitions. I got quite good at it, reasonably good at it. Won a local competition, and in that kind of local competition, which was hosted by our gym, a couple of other local gyms came along. So we obviously had a few more people taking part. And then after that, one of the other local gyms said, oh, by the way, we're hosting this powerlifting competition. Look, we brought some athletes to your gym. Maybe you could bring some athletes to our gym and you could do this powerlifting competition. And we were like, or Adam, my coach, was like, yeah, sure. And then basically no one wanted to do it.
Okay.
And so as a favor, I was like, I stepped up and I was like, go on, I'll give it a go. And it wasn't even a full powerlifting competition. It was just push pull. So we had a bench press and then a deadlift. And yeah, so I did that as well and managed to win that local competition. So I'm kind of one weightlifting competition in that I'd won, then one powerlifting competition in that I'd won. And then another coach at my gym, our gym, said, well, you need to make it a hat trick, Hannah. You've got weightlifting, you've done powerlifting, fancy some strongman. And I'd never, ever considered doing strongman. And I was like, well, do you know what? You find me a competition, you give me some pointers and give me a bit of training, and I'll do it. And literally the next day he came in and he was like, right, got one for you. Peterborough, this date, we've got 6 weeks, sign up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of felt, well, I didn't have a choice. I'd kind of said, well, if you find me one, I'll do it. So there we were. So I did it.
And did you win that as well?
Yeah, I did. So I entered the masters class. So the age 40 plus women. And yeah, and I went in and I did win that. Yeah. And I loved it. And I remember every event. Yeah, and I can remember all the weights for everything as well. And I look back and I see like where that was and then how far I've come today. And I'm like, wow. But yeah.
How long ago was that when you'd done that initial kind of trifecta, if you like, of comps? You know, you'd done your weightlifting, you'd done your powerlifting, you did your strongman. How long ago was that?
So I'm thinking back, I think that was like April to July of 22.
Okay, so only really 3 years ago.
3 years. So I'm
years
quite
ago.
new into, obviously I'd competed as a weightlifter prior to that, but actually kind of the more serious side of the competition, really I've only been doing it for 3 years. So then it kind of snowballed. I am quite a petite person. And that at that time or the following year, UKNS then launched that they were going to introduce an under 57 kilo class, which works.
UKNS, is that United Kingdom? Is that natural strongman? Is that what it's
So
called?
it was, yeah, United Kingdom Natural Strongman. It's now just known as Natural Strongman. But that federation, launched that class, and yeah, so I was like, right, I'm in. I did the regionals, think in 2023, then went to, I'm going to say to nationals, which was in Ireland, then went to worlds in Scotland. I think I came third in both of those competitions. And then as you do, you kind of sit down after all that and you do a review and you go, right, what are we going to do next year? Are we going to take this seriously and do this all again? And Adam, my coach, and I sat down and we were like, right, goals. And I set myself the goal of competing in 3 competitions, so across all 3 strength sports, so powerlifting, weightlifting, and strongman, at a national level for my age and weight class. And that was the goal, was to get qualified and do all those 3 competitions. And yeah, it was hard, but we did it. So 2024 then saw me, I'm going to get this in the right order. I think the first one I did was, I'm going to say it was the powerlifting. I came 5th in the M1 British Masters Championships.
And that was all 3 events. That was the squat as well, was it?
So that was all 3. So that was SBD, so squat, bench, deadlift. So you get 3 attempts at your heaviest squat, 3 attempts at your heaviest bench, 3 attempts at your heaviest deadlift. And going into that competition, it was the second powerlifting competition I'd ever done. So I felt like a complete fraud, like turning up and being like, oh yeah, I'm just a kind of a bit of a weightlifter, do a bit of strongman, thought I'd have a go at powerlifting, and yeah, here I am, national championships. But it was great. So I came 5th in that one. We then, I think, went on to do, I'm going to say the UKNS again, or Natural Strongman Nationals, where I think I came 2nd. I did the British Weightlifting Championships, which I then won. Went on to win Natural Strong Worlds under 57 kilos. Again, yeah, I won, which was amazing.
And where was that? Where was that one? That wasn't.
That was in Ireland, so that was in Galway again. So
Yeah.
Galway is like, I'm going to say it's the home of natural strongman. It's where kind of Matty is based, and he's kind of the head of that federation. So I've been over to Ireland, to Galway, for a couple of competitions over there.
And just for people who are listening, because I mean, we don't want to assume that people know, but kind of natural strongman, natural strongwoman is where you're training and you're lifting, and you're not taking any kind of performance enhancing kind of drugs, really. You know, it's kind of it's kind of a separate, where everyone's natural, doing it without any drugs and that sort of thing. You know, yeah.
Yeah. And you have to undergo drugs tests as well. So yeah, you kind of follow like, I suppose, like the same as powerlifting and weightlifting, like the WADA kind of drugs controls. So yeah, so went on to, and then at the end of the year, I think I then won the English weightlifting championships as well. So it was quite a big year.
And then have you been out as well to the Arnolds? Have you competed out at the Arnolds? Because
Yeah,
I saw
so
on
I've
your
done the Arnolds
Instagram,
twice
obviously
now.
you posing in front of the famous Arnold statue out in Columbus, Ohio.
I don't know if you can see, I've got the t-shirt on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Brilliant. So you competed out in the Arnolds out in Ohio as well?
Yeah, so I've done the Arnolds twice. So I did the Arnolds earlier this year, placing second, and then I did the Arnolds last year as well, placing third. So they also do. So there's only 2 federations in, I suppose, the world that actually offer my weight class. So under 57 or under 125 pounds. So the Arnold's federation is all Strongman Corp, isn't it? That runs it. They do, and obviously Natural Strongman does as well. So so yeah, so I've been out.
So in like the OSG and stuff, the official strongman games, they don't have that category in there, no?
Not yet.
No.
I mean, I'd like to be hopeful that as the sport grows and, you know, and progresses and more people are kind of taking part, that they will open that up.
What's the lightest they do? Like under 73 or something, is it? Or
Under 64s.
oh, 64s they do. Okay.
Yeah,
And you're 50
under
sort of, and you're sort of more like 57, 59s if they had something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of sit quite comfortably between 58 and 59 kilos. So I have a little dip into competing at under 57s.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's,
And the under 64s would just be, you're not, you know, you could enter it, but you'd need to, you know, you could put quite a lot of weight on and it maybe wouldn't suit you.
I think in order to be as competitive as I would like to be, I would either need to, put a little bit of weight on and get a little bit stronger. But yeah, I would need to, because you find as well, typically a lot of the girls will cut into their weight class. So they'll come down from kind of above 64. And then I'm kind of feel like I'm giving away almost 10 kilos in weight, which is, that's quite a lot when you only weigh, you know, 57 kilos anyway. That's quite a lot of weight to give away.
Yeah.
But no, I'm hopeful. Next year, at the beginning of next year, sees Unbreakable Promotions do their first England's Strongest Woman for my weight class at under 57 kilos. So if enough of us get behind that and sign up and we put on a good show, then fingers crossed going into the future, we will see some growth there. Yeah, to get this weight class an established weight class really in the sport, because it is within powerlifting, especially we have an under 57 kilo class, and then with weightlifting they changed all the weightlifting classes this year, and so it's now an under 58 kilo class, and there still is a lighter one as well. You can still compete as well for weightlifting at an under 53, and for powerlifting you can go lighter as well. So I feel like strongman, you know, we can get the people behind it.
Sorry, Pete, you were going to ask a question or say something?
I was just going to mention Finn, because Finbar did that with the
kettlebell sport.
Then he went up a weight class and he was doing all right, but it was just too heavy. I think he was just like, he was competing against people that he's not his natural weight. So he went back down again and was just way stronger. So just having that experience, I think, made a massive difference. But what I was going to ask, because we've had various strong women on, like Donna Moore, and she started out doing body pump.
Yeah, I remember listening to that podcast that you did with her.
So what I was going to ask was, because you said like, I used to like teach Les Mills classes and all that. Is that how you used to train? So you said, it sounds like, and I might be wrong, you used to do like lots and lots of different things. Then you started doing CrossFit and decided you like barbell. And so you've distilled it down from everything right down to what do I actually want to do. And the reason why I'm asking that is because we'll have lots of listeners who are like, I do this and I do this and I do this and a bit of this and I want to run a marathon and I want to deadlift double my body weight and I want to do, and it's like, which one do you want? And it sounds like you've kind of not even decided which one you want. You've just naturally got to it. So were you always lifting heavy weights? Were you always doing that when you started out after university, or did you start in a generic way and then kind of bring it in?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've done over time. I mean, I've done a bit of everything. Like I've gone through, like, I'm going to say, a running phase where I've done 5Ks, 10Ks. I've done a few half marathons. I've done a few triathlons as well. I've done a few like cycling sportifs, so kind of like 50, 60-mile races as well. I think I very much go through phases with my training where I like to I enjoy something. I like to do it. I like to do it really well. And I will put the time and the effort in to get quite good at something. And then, I think I'm ready for the next thing.
Because it's like when we've had Dan John on before, he talks a lot about like when you're young, or I suppose it doesn't matter what age you are, but expose yourself to as many different sports and as many different modalities of training as you can, because unless you try things, you're never really going to find out what you're good at or what you have a natural leaning towards, you know. And it probably seems that you've done lots of things, and like you say, you've done running, you've done cycling, you've done triathlon, but would it be fair to say, did you naturally kind of lean more towards, are you better at strength sports than you were at those? I mean, would you be going to a triathlon event and podiuming or getting, or were you doing it because you enjoyed it, or were you very, very good at that as well when you kind of had to decide which one you spent more time on?
I am the type of person who wouldn't enter. That doesn't sound really awful, but wouldn't really think, oh yeah, I'm going to do a race and I'm going to enter this unless I thought I actually had a really good chance of winning it. I'm incredibly competitive. I'm not going to lie. I'm incredibly competitive. Yeah, and so unless I thought I could be like half decent at something, and be like a competitor, I suppose is the right thing, I would wait until I'd done the training and done the work and put the time in to be at a decent level before I then went, right, I'm gonna
So
do
you
it.
wouldn't just do an event for fun, as it were. You wouldn't just go and do something for the fun of doing it. It's almost like, well, I want to know that I'm going to maybe come like top 10 or you know what I mean? You want to be, is that right?
No, I would absolutely like it, because I mean, I wouldn't do this stuff if I didn't enjoy it more than anything else. But yeah, I am an incredibly competitive person. So
I've got this image of you on like kids sports day, and it's the parents event. And you're like, if it's not powerlifting, I'm not doing it. Introduce powerlifting, and I'll have a go.
I would back myself for winning the 100-meter race. Don't worry, at Parents' Day.
Have you seen? There was a video I saw just a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's probably in America, but it's like a former like Olympic sort of sprinter, like a female, and she's at like the school sports day, and literally, she doesn't hold back at all. It's like, right, go, and if it's 100 meters, she's probably 50 meters ahead of the next person. She just goes like it's like an Olympic event. It's.
Did you see the thing that Peter Crouch did over? It was like during lockdown. He had a show on BBC, didn't he? And it was basically every week there was Fast Dad, because Peter Crouch was in a 100-meter race or something at his kid's sports day, and he got beaten by this fella. Right.
Okay.
So he was gutted, and this fella was like a pilot, and he was one of the dads at school. So every week they got him on, and him and Peter Crouch had like a competition in throwing or anything, just to see who was
brilliant.
Best.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love that.
So Hannah, in terms of your training, you're incredibly successful, and you've got this kind of niche, like Pete said, you started with a wide funnel and you've kind of niched down, and now at the moment, at this stage in life, you're competing, like powerlifting, weightlifting, strongwoman as well. But like you say, or like we said when we introduced you, you still teach things like Pilates, yoga, Barre, which is kind of like ballet kind of
Ballet, yeah.
based exercise, in like legs, bums and tums, boot
Yeah.
camps and stuff. So the majority of the people that you train in, and is St Ives, is it a village, is it a town, what
It's a
kind of,
town.
it's a town near
Just a
Cambridge,
small
yeah?
town.
Okay, so the most of your clients that you look after, are they predominantly women that you train, or is it a mixture of male and female, or predominantly women, do you say?
It is a bit of a mix. It depends what I'm kind of coaching or what I'm teaching. You typically don't get that many men that come to ballet, fitness, or to legs, tums, and bums, if I'm honest.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but my yoga sessions, are a good mix of men and women. I also have my own boot camp that I run. I live in a little village just outside of St Ives, and I run my own boot camp there, and that's quite a nice mix as well of men and women who come along. And
And is
then
that
I
all year?
do,
Is that all year round? Is it outdoors?
yeah, outdoors
Yeah.
all year round, doesn't matter. Rain, snow, we'll be there in the hurricanes.
Okay.
Very rarely do we retreat inside, and I don't think I've ever cancelled a session because of the weather.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah.
we are there.
Pete teaches outside as well, don't you, Pete? Down in Bath. Yeah.
Absolutely, best
Always.
way. I haven't had to cancel a session because of the weather until we were halfway through, because we were in a park and there was a massive storm and there was this tree that looked a bit dodgy. But the guys looked at me and they were like, "Can we go home?" And I was like, "Yeah." Danger of death's a different thing, but that was the only ever time in like 10 years. So that's been great.
And I also work at or the gym I work at predominantly is Nova Performance, which we do strongman, powerlifting, and weightlifting, and I coach strongman there as well. So
Yeah.
and that's a good mix of men and women in our team.
So
Excellent.
what do you do in your spare time?
Yeah. Don't.
I've got to ask as well, because I was looking through your Instagram and stuff earlier, and I know that you do all of this stuff in terms of your own training and your work, and then it said you've got like 2 kids, a husband, 1 dog, 2 cats, and 3 chickens as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I have all. Yeah, it's busy, and
you have
I
egg,
also,
you get
I mean,
eggs from your do you get eggs from your chickens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only I've got they're really little, my chickens. So we get very little eggs. And they
Okay.
are still laying. I'm surprised actually, because as it gets colder, they tend not to lay. But yeah, no, I still
Are you sure they're not quails?
Yeah, but it's about that kind of size, the eggs that I get. 'Cause they're only little bantams. We get like these little quail's eggs almost. That exactly that kind of size. They're really small. Yeah, no, our life is incredibly busy. Like both my children as well are both super sporty. So my daughter swims 5 nights a week. My son is quite a talented footballer, so he is at various different sessions. They both play hockey. It's life is
Did
busy.
you say your son, which one of them was 10, nearly 11? Is that
Yes, that's my son,
And how old's your daughter?
and my daughter's 13.
Oh, so she's a bit older. So she's the kind of competitive swimmer, yeah? 5
She's
times.
the swimmer.
Yeah.
She's
yeah.
also she's very strong as well. Like, I mean, I would love to get her into kind of doing some powerlifting. She has been to the gym with me a couple of times, and last year I got her on the Atlas stones. So at 10 years old or 11 years old, I think she probably was at the time then, she loaded a 50-kilo stone.
Wow.
That's pretty good for like an 11-year-old.
And that probably is more than she weighs, isn't it? I'd imagine.
I would imagine at that time it was probably about what she weighs.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
So
yeah.
she's incredibly talented athlete. They both are, but she's incredibly talented an athlete. So yeah.
And what about your husband? Is he a sporty as well? Why are you laughing? Is it?
Yeah, no, he used to be.
Okay, so he's not as kind of sporty now as he used to be.
He was a tennis professional. So yeah,
Oh,
so when
wow,
he was
okay.
much younger, he did a lot of he worked in tennis. He coached tennis an awful lot, and then he's done a lot of triathlons. He's been an Ironman as well, so he's put his
Wow.
time into training. So I think he's probably done 3 or 4 Ironmans as well. So
Oh
yeah.
wow. So yeah, so with the 2 of you as parents, then the kids are obviously, they've inherited that. I suppose it's partly genetic, and then it's obviously lifestyle, and it's that nature nurture thing, isn't it? They see you being really active and the kind of lifestyles that you both have and have had, and they're probably inspired to, they just think that's normal, don't they, to be active and things.
I really hope so. I mean, with my children, they've obviously got quite big goals. Like my son wants to be a professional footballer, as most 10-year-old boys probably do. And, you know, my daughter's like, yeah, I'm going to swim at the Olympics when I'm older. And I'm just like, do you know what? One thing I wanted to do is really show them that if you really put the work in, that's actually possible. Because like, yeah, like they've seen how hard I've worked, and not just trained in the gym, but everything else that goes into it, you know, I'm going to say the active rest, the recovery, the nutrition, the whole spectrum of what goes into kind of, I'm going to say, making a world champion. Because I've done it, I've been there, and I want to be that example of that you can be anything that you want to be. And if you want to be world champion and you work hard at it, you will be.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's really, really good to have that. Well, like you say, to pass that on to your kids and then to be so encouraging of it as well. Because I know it's hard. I mean, most people think my kids go swimming like once a week, you know what I mean? And it's like, but for if she's going 5 times a week after school, is there a pool that's fairly close to you, or is it a bit of a drive, or?
No, there is a local pool in St Ives. So
Oh,
she swims
excellent.
for St Ives Swim Club,
Yeah.
and for school as well. Actually, she's at a school gala this afternoon.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
Okay. Excellent. And in terms of your coaching, you know, like when did that really kind of kick off that I know you mentioned, you know, you were obviously did sports science degree kind of years ago, I presume, you know, when you know,
Thanks.
well, no, no, I don't. Sorry. No, I just mean the three of us. Look at Pete, head in hands.
James has at least one of these per episode, so don't take it personally.
No, I mean the three of us were all the same sort of age, you know what I mean? So yeah. But you know, so you did that. What age were you when you went? Did you go into kind of coaching and you said working in the gym reception and stuff from like in your early 20s or something? You kind of you've always been in the fitness industry your whole working life, really?
Yeah, pretty much. So I went kind of, working when I was at university as my part-time job, working in reception, and then qualified as an instructor and kind of starting working as a PT. And then even as I kind of worked my way through the gym chain up to kind of club management, I then still taught classes. Didn't do as much personal training. I had a few years out actually. I think you're a bit of a snowboarder as well, aren't you?
I
Yeah, so
tried
I
to
did
be,
take
yeah.
a few years out where I did a few seasons back to back in Europe,
Oh,
and then
because you mentioned
in
being
New
like
Zealand.
A chalet person, did you as well?
Yeah, we had that,
Yeah,
didn't we, the weekend? Right, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
so I did a season chalet hosting. And then I'm a qualified snowboard instructor as well. So
Oh,
yeah.
Of
just
course you
another
are.
thing, like Pete's like, yeah, just another thing, yeah.
So yeah, so I had a few years just kind of going northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere again, with doing that. And then kind of went back into working in the gyms. And then it was after I had my children that then I didn't go back to full-time work. And then I kind of started to fit all my work around the kids. That's when I went back into kind of doing more classes and personal training. And so I want to say almost like back to the floor, back into the proper like doing the work rather than managing the work. And I loved it. I loved it so much. And I haven't, I've stayed with that the whole time since then, and
Excellent.
just kind of grown my business, really moving up to Cambridge, then just slowly picking up clients. And working kind of as I've kind of obviously developed as an athlete, kind of realized what I'm interested in, and, worked on my own nutrition, and then, shared that with people to run some kind of nutrition work and some, I suppose I had fat loss for women, really, I suppose, is what I work with women who want to lose weight, who want to do it in a safe way and want to keep the weight off.
No, actually, I was going to ask about that, about the nutrition stuff. Is that something that you do as a kind of a complimentary service to the people that you do physical training for, or do you sometimes actually work with people kind of on the nutrition stuff on its own or first, and then maybe they migrate to doing some physical stuff as well, or how does that tend to work?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of my like nutrition clients have come to me because they know me in some way, through doing my fitness classes. So will often offer kind of my nutrition services alongside my personal training for my one-to-one clients. But yeah, I have worked with people who've kind of said to me, "Oh, Hannah, I come to your legs, tums and bum class, but I know you do this, and I really want to do X, Y, and Z, and I've got this event coming up." So yeah, I do offer that as a kind of a sideline kind of one-to-one service as well.
Mm.
And
So
I've
on
worked
the
with a few of the athletes as well. We've got our gym kind of helping them figure out, you know, their nutrition, especially into kind of things like competitions or competition nutrition, or trying to maybe bring their weight down slightly because they need to cut into a weight class.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
on the
sorry, Pete.
nutrition side, where do you usually start? Because like, there'll be a common thing, won't there? With I mean, I don't know, like about whether it's with women or men or whatever. But if you're doing it specifically with women, is it like, you know, is it like getting them to eat enough protein? Is it the calories? Is it like, you know, fast food, or like what's the? I mean, it's probably quite a broad question, but is there a common theme that you not struggle with, but get people to kind of get on board with, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, it is a very broad question, but typically, I typically tend to work with women of a certain age, so between kind of perimenopausal, postmenopausal women, so women really 40s through to their 60s, I suppose. And yeah, typically, I would find that they don't tend to eat enough protein generally. And as we get older as well as women, like our protein demands actually go up, and people don't think about things
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, and just often I find they just don't eat maybe regularly, or as well as they just it's just really setting like really like healthy habits more than anything else. I find that, you know, people have busy lives. You know, they've got children, they've got jobs, they've got dogs, they've got cats, they've got chickens. They, you know, it just falls by the wayside. A lot of what we do sometimes is not necessarily just about nutrition. It's just about getting them to focus on them again for a while, and then
Yeah.
kind of working that out into changing their mindset and making different choices.
That was why I asked, because for people who are listening, I think it's very common, certainly from people who've spoken to, and just from people ask, I mean, men as well. You know, protein tends to be the thing, and also people just tend to go, "I'll eat fewer calories," and then they don't eat enough, and then like you've just said, they've got busy lives and they're knackered all the time, and they can't figure out why. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work," and it's like, no, it does. You've just got to approach it in a well, an appropriate way, shall we say, not the correct way. But yeah, I like that.
So for you, Hannah, what is next in terms of your goals for 2025, 2026? I mean, we spoke, didn't we, on the course about having like maybe an annual plan, or having like a 3-year goal, or different things, and breaking it down into kind of different stages. But what are your sights set on for the next kind of, I don't know, 12 to 18 months? What are you heading after?
So I said before, we set a target to compete in all 3 different strength sports across at a national level. So the next target we decided to set was to try and do all 3 different strength sports at an international level. So I've obviously done a couple of strongman world championships now. So I've competed at the Arnold's twice, and I've done natural strongman's world championships as well a couple of times. I competed just last month in Las Vegas at the Masters Weightlifting World Championships. So that's another tick in the box. So 2026, the plan is to do a bit more powerlifting, and to see whether I can make my way to an international powerlifting meet in some way. A little bit more challenging because with weightlifting, obviously with strongman, it's about qualifying, kind of getting a podium to move on to the next level. With weightlifting, often you have to get a qualifying total, and then if you hit the qualifying total, then you can enter the competition. With powerlifting, you have to be selected, so I do need to be selected to compete for the English or the British team, and see if I can do that.
Yeah,
Fingers
we've got a
crossed, it's a
lady.
big goal.
We got a lady at the gym who trains with James Crozier,
That's Nikki.
Nikki Soda. Yeah, because she's off. She's at the moment, actually, she's in South Africa for Team GB. So she is obviously like, I think she's about 63 years of age. So she's kind of like obviously age group and weight class kind of powerlifting, but out in South Africa. I think it's Cape Town where the actual competition is, I think. So she flew out on Tuesday night, and I think she competes this Saturday out there. So yeah, so that's the kind of thing that you're looking towards, yeah?
That is, I know Nikki actually.
Yeah.
I met Nikki earlier this year at the So powerlifting is done regionally. So at the East, it's called the East Midlands, but Essex and Cambridgeshire are both included in the East Midlands. At the regional powerlifting championships for our region. And yes, that is exactly my goal. Exactly what Nikki's just gone to is what
she's lovely, isn't she? She's so lovely. You know, she's really lovely lady. So oh, that would be incredible. That's great though, isn't it? I can see the process there of, you know, compete in all three nationally, then compete in all three internationally. I mean, are there many people that I can't imagine there's many people doing strong woman or strong man, weightlifting and powerlifting and performing at a high level in all three kind of concurrently, you know, rather I can't imagine there's many people do that, is there?
No, I think you do get some crossover. You definitely get some crossover between strongman and weightlifting and strongman and powerlifting. But I don't know another athlete who does all three at a level.
Yeah.
So,
no.
yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we are going to have to wrap up here because I know we have got you're going to be locked in the gym otherwise at 3 p.m. So
I'm at the dance studio. Yeah, I'm going to get locked in at 3 o'clock otherwise.
Locked in at 3 o'clock. So we're going to start to wrap up. But that's been really lovely talking to you. And I think you know, that's a little bit, I don't know, we've probably been done at about an hour and 15, 45 minutes, I think we've probably done. So we'll have to catch up with you again and see how you get on, you know, with this goal of competing against, you know, in all three internationally. That would be lovely to speak to you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been lovely, Pete, isn't it?
That's been great. I love those goals because one of them at least is out of your control. And I love that because, like, you know, people like, you know, you can do certain amount of things to get to a certain place and then it's on you. And it's still on you to get to put yourself in the place to get selected. But I like the fact that that's big goals, isn't it? Setting big goals of like, I've just got to put myself in the place and then I might not get selected. That's massive. I love that. That is brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just think, obviously we talked about how old we are, and I just think I'm just going to keep doing this for as long as I can.
Yeah.
And whilst I'm still competitive, just keep going.
Well, like you said, you're only really 3 years in the sport at that kind of level that you're at, you know. So in terms of experience within the sport and miles on the clock in the sport, you're still fairly new to it.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've probably still got room you've definitely still got room. You can keep improving, can't you?
Only I was 20 years younger.
Well, Dan John said, you know, he goes to meets now and the pool's got smaller because there's very few 69, 70-year-olds lifting weights like he does.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, for the sports I do, so for weightlifting, powerlifting, obviously it is age appropriate. I'm competing against women who are the same age and the same weight class as me. Strongman isn't. Strongman, I'm up against the kids. You know, I can remember standing on a podium with two other girls and being literally like, okay, I am actually old enough to be your mum. You could be my daughters.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, Hannah, for making the time. And it's been really lovely talking to you. And like I say, we definitely will, you know, keep connected and talk to you again and see how this progresses for you. Because it's inspiring and it's really interesting as well. So thank you everybody for watching, listening. Please do like, share, subscribe, leave a review if you're watching or listening on a platform that allows you to do so, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts. And I'm also going to start saying now, if you're listening on Spotify, I don't think you can leave us a written review, but give us 5 stars on Spotify if you're listening on Spotify as well. And if you don't yet subscribe on YouTube, do that for us as well. We will be back next week. Not 100% sure who our guests will be next week. I think it's 2 weeks' time. We will be having Theo Newton on, so we may have a surprise guest next week for you as well. But thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Peter Lance.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. And we will see you next week for episode 270. Until then, bye-bye.
You've been listening to Health Odyssey with Peter Lant and James St. Pierre. To get your regular fix of hype-free health, you can subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can find out more on today's and other topics at healthodyssey.com or find us on Facebook or Instagram by searching for Health Oddity.